Hey guys, and welcome to another episode. Today I'm going to show you how to spray a car with plastic dip with an HVLP gun. Now usually I spray cars with my DYC gun that I got from dipyourcar.com. Now it does a great job at doing a pretty good finish for the price. The entire kit itself costs about 160 bucks, give or take. And the thing is, it does a really good job for that price point. However, when you get into the more expensive stuff, so air compressor and an HVLP gun, you'll get a much better finish and the results will speak for themselves. Today I'm going to show you how to load up your paint gun, how to spray your car, how to do everything with an HVLP gun. So let's get started. So the Infiniti that I have behind me right now is going to be sprayed first with the black, and then there's going to be another top pearl coat on top. Now I'm going to be putting metal flakes in it, but right now I've got to put down my black base coat. So get your gun, set it up in a stand, get a filter, either put it in the actual cup, or if your stand doesn't have one of these, just do it like that. If it does, put your little filter like this and put the plastic dip inside of here and strain it out. Make sure that only plastic dip, fresh plastic dip, no clumps or anything are going through this, and then this is basically ready to spray. And I'll show you in a minute how to set it up. Now whenever you're pouring your plastic dip in here, you never want to overfill it, because if you do, air can't circulate inside of here and depressurize. Because on top of here, there's a little hole on the top of the paint cup that sits on top of here, and it has to have an equal pressure. So, step this aside, move this here. If air can't push in and out, if it can't move through there as it will, the plastic won't be able to shoot through the gun. So make sure that this is on there properly, there's no holes. And whatever you do, do not pull the trigger. As soon as you load plastic dip inside of here, and you pull this trigger, plastic dip is gonna wanna spray out of here, even if you don't have your air hose attached to it. So, just be careful of that. So I have my DeVilbiss HVLP gun right here with my plastic dip in it already. Now I'm going to break this down and show you guys what I have on the gun. So down here I've got an air regulator. It allows me to change how much air goes through the bottom end of the gun and then out the tip. Moving up, we've got our handle, we've got our spray trigger right here. We've got this selector here for your fan pattern, this one. And then you've got another one up here for the fluid delivery. So you select how much fluid is going to be coming out of the paint cup. Once you set all these settings up properly on your gun, we can go ahead and spray the car. Now I'm going to set this up on the air hose and show you how to spray this. The way that I set my gun up is I want my fan pattern to be the exact same thing as basically the DYC gun. So I want a nice football pattern that's kind of thicker in the middle and then thins out up top and bottom. I don't want any curving, I don't want anything fancy, I don't want a little spot shot. I want a nice up and down fan pattern. You have to make sure that you don't allow too much air inside the gun. Now the way you set that up is you pull the trigger, but not all the way. There's a two-step trigger to this thing. So you can pull it a little bit and it'll only allow air to come out, or if you pull it harder, it'll allow air and fluid to come out. So if I squeeze this, look what happens. Notice nothing came out? If I squeeze a little bit harder, this is what happens. See how plastic it shoots out? Well, you want to basically control that and just note that you can do this with the gun. So when you're spraying, you'll go squeeze in all the way when you're spraying, let go so you're at the first step, and then start spraying again when you come back for the second shot. So it'll be like this. See that? That's how you want to set this up. So you always want air coming out of your tip. Now for the actual fan pattern itself, you have to play around with this, screw this in, or screw them both out accordingly until you have a nice fan pattern. That's a little bit too heavy, so I'll just push that in a little bit. And right there, that's a very nice fan pattern. Now, after this is all set up, I'm gonna go put my paint mask on and start spraying down the car. Changing to an HVLP gun doesn't mean that you have to change the way you spray. It just means that you will get better atomization, resulting in a smoother finish. Now, of course, if you have high-end spraying equipment, that doesn't mean you can put it in the hands of a beginner and expect professional results. It still requires a certain level of skill to achieve these great results. Something to keep in mind when using an HVLP gun is that you have to make sure that your compressor can produce enough air for your gun. The larger 60 and 80 gallon compressors are ideal for spraying cars because you won't have to wait for the air compressor to keep up with your gun. If you run a small compressor, you will always have to wait for the compressor to maintain proper air pressure. You will probably be able to spray one panel at a time before you have to wait for it to catch up. This is why these systems can be very costly, as these air compressors can cost a couple bucks. Now I've already gone ahead and sprayed down 3 coats of matte black plastic dip on this G35 as a base coat, and I'm gonna be throwing down a dip pearl on top of it to really make it stand out and really give it a distinct different color. Now the dip pearls that I've got inside this bag are the Hyper Black Graphite Pearl. I've got 4 bags of the 25 grams that are available from dipyourcar.com. Now 2 of these bags I'm gonna be putting inside one of this gallon of the DYC top coat, and I'm gonna be putting the other 2 inside the other gallon. Now the gallons that I've put down already for the base are 3 gallons of matte black plastic dip. Now I used 2 gallons in total to do that, and then I'm gonna be spraying down these other gallons on top of it. You're gonna mix these dip pearls that I've got right here in the dip pearl top coat the exact same way that I showed you how to do it on the Copper Cooper. Now if you guys don't know how to do that, I'll make a little blob right here. You guys can click that and then come back to this and know exactly what we're doing. But I'm gonna be mixing all of these together, and I'm gonna be spraying them down onto this Infiniti G35. So with the base coats down, this thing is basically ready to spray. Now this thing had a new body kit on it. The side skirt, the rear bumper, and the front bumper were all different colors. Now as you can see, it doesn't really match up perfectly, but that's what you get with those eBay body kits. Now as it stands, all the panels are the same color. So the hood, the fenders, the bumper, everything's the same color. And then I'm gonna be spraying down the coating, so the dip pearl top coat on top of everything. So it's gonna bring everything together and make it all look completely uniform. And it's not gonna make any of the panels look different than any other one. Now this body kit, as you can see, is quite aggressive and actually does look really sweet. And at the end of it, this thing is gonna be unreal. So I'm gonna be leaving, as you can see, the roof up top, I'm gonna be leaving that gloss black. I'm gonna be taking the dip off of here, the windows, and then the wheels I already dipped. I'll take these bags off after I'm done everything and show you guys what I've done to them. I did a matte black base coat on those, and then on top of it, I put silver metallizer on top. And it actually looks really sick. You guys will see after I'm done everything how this project turns out. If you guys want to do the exact same thing as this Infiniti, you guys can basically follow all the instructions on here and then have your car done the exact same way. That's enough talking for now. Let's get started and mix those pearls into our DYC top coat. So I'm going to be setting 1 gallon and 2 of these bags aside, and I'll get cracking on this one first. So open this up just like any other gallon of paint that you'd use, and set the top part aside. Now, how we're gonna have to mix this is the same way as I said as we did for the Copper Cooper. You're gonna slowly mix this bag of dip pearls into our DYC top coat while you're mixing it with this. So, open up your bag, just so you can pour some inside there. Put your wand inside of this. Start mixing it up, and then start sprinkling some of the dip pearls on top into here so everything gets nice and mixed up. After you're done mixing the plastic dip, load it into your paint gun just like with the black plastic dip, and then spray the entire vehicle. Just keep in mind that when you're spraying, the DYC top coat is thinner than the traditional rubber dip spray, so just keep that in mind when you're spraying. Behind me I have the Infiniti that's all done and dipped in the Hyper Black Graphite Dip Pearl. Now for this job, I used 2 gallons of black plastic dip. Now that gave me about 3 coats of black as a base, and then on top of that I used 2 gallons of the DYC top coat along with 100 grams total of the Hyper Graphite Dip Pearl. I mixed that into 2 gallons of the DYC top coat that I used. That totaled up being another 4 coats of the dip pearl on top of the black base. As you can see, it turned out kind of a graphite-y gray kind of color. Not quite a black that I was expecting, but closer to a gray, which I wanted. The wheels on this car are also done as well. I used a black plastic dip base coat, and then I used silver metallizer on top. I'm gonna get the camera and bring you guys in and show you how this turned out. If you guys have any questions regarding the video, please post them down in the comments below, and I'd be happy to help. Again guys, thanks for watching. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.